In this video, I want to cover why Mormonism, is growing in Africa today. In fact, any religion is growing in Africa, any religion. The problem is when you are living in a country or a continent that cannot rival the West or even China, then the next best thing is going to be religion. And sadly, it is a continent that is riddled in superstition. It could be anything, they'll latch onto it. But Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, he started the concept that, let me turn the engine off because I was getting quite cold. Yeah, he started the concept that black skin was a curse. And indeed, many black people ran around with this excuse: I can't support black business because I'm cursed. I can't love my own race because I'm cursed. And that became a jewel. That became an excuse for black and black hatred. Well, we're cursed. The Bible tells us we're cursed. So we might as well kill each other, stab each other, promote gangster rap because we're cursed anyway. Joseph Smith says if you black skin, you came from the generation of Ham, generation of pigs. And what did Jesus do to the pigs? He threw the pigs off the cliff. Ham, pigs, pork, unforbidden. So what happened was, in the 1970s, that kind of racial, scientific and nonsense, could go on unchallenged. But then obviously, as religion has become business-like, begin to realize, something here, I'm onto a good thing. I can make some serious money here. Then they started to include black people. They never apologized for saying that black people are inferior. They never apologized for saying black people are monkeys. They never apologized for saying black skin is a curse. No, instead, bring in the money. Ding, ding. Ching, ching. Bring in the money. And something? The problem with our people, you see, my people are destroyed because of their lack of knowledge. My people are destroyed because of their lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge of self, lack of wanting to read. Whatever religion you join in, you want to make sure you research the founder, what their principles are, whether John Wesley, whatever. John Stott, you need to read, the founder of that particular religion, whether Ellen G. White of Seventh-day Adventists. You need to know what is their philosophy. Because anybody can hold a Bible, but what is their ultimate beliefs about black people? And something? Africa is now growing. Mormonism is dying out in the West, but it's growing in Africa, gullible Africa, because they know the people will throw their money, like they did to a white convict calling himself Messiah Jesus, and they threw their money at his feet. They worshipped him. This is a white convict, not ex-convict. He was a criminal. And he went into Ghana, and the pastor introduced him, the black African pastor introduced him to the congregation as Jesus Christ. I'll be attacked for this video. Can you imagine? The people that are attacking me for this video, they are the problem. They don't want to see the truth. Yep. These racist JWs, what's his name? Charlie Russell. Charlie Russell was a racist, a Freemason. We know how many black people are JWs and they don't even look at the history of Charlie Russell. And that's why our people are destroyed because of our lack of knowledge. Charlie Russell, Joseph Smith, the biggest founders of racism, and the people that propagated that black people are inferior. But because we love religion so much, we refuse to look into the backgrounds of what, I remember, my black friend, before he committed suicide, sadly, and he belonged to, I won't mention the name, this well-popular Pentecostal church. And when he looked into the history, he left the church, he left the church. And he didn't leave God, but he left the church. And he found out that what he thought was a black church was owned by a rich white family. I'll do a part 2 to this. He began to realize he was paying tithe to a rich white family. But that's a problem with us. We don't like to read. Not Dave Chappelle. Chris Rock. That's Chris Rock said. And that is, to us, when we hold the book in our hands or see a library, it's like a vampire, to a guy. That they start going strange, when we see a book. And that's what's destroying us. That's why people can con us every day. That's what they can ruin us every day. Because we don't want to research anything. With the private schools that people are claiming they're going to build and they don't build it, we don't look into their background. And that's why our people find it hard to grow. That's why we don't support each other's businesses, because we're so ignorant. Mormonism is growing in Africa. More than anywhere else. Sorry, a bit breathless. More than anywhere else in the world, this racist organization, this racist religion is growing in Africa. What does that tell you about our people? That we'll accept the devil into Africa. What does that tell you? We'll accept Satan in Africa to poison our minds. If it's already poisoned already. We got Bill Gates coming to Africa.
This old Italy mansion ship, minute after they took high from the bottomless pit, my head was made strong from the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation, triumphantly. Won't you hear me sing these songs of freedom?